Thank you, Chandan. Thank you very much. As we had discussed that we would have the question answer session now, I would request you to kindly raise your hands and raise questions. Question has to be pointed to a particular panelist and you will get an answer. Please.
My question is to Andrew and to Amit Khatri. If you don't mind, both of you are pitching for two different technologies for same kind of water treatment, for instance, municipal wastewater treatment. So could you just let me know what could be the cost of treating a particular, treating 1 kiloliter of water with your kind of technology and your kind, so that I can at least get educated on which technology would serve better.
Where are you from?
Yeah, okay. Myself, Dr. Hema Devan, coming representing National Institute of Industrial Engineering, Mumbai.
So for Municipal Corporation Gurgaon, it has costed us around 18 lakhs for a 30 KLD plant, 30,000 liters per day, 30,000 liters per day,
Okay.
18 lakhs.
18 lakhs.
So including O&M for 2 years.
Okay. And that's a very much biological kind of treatment, in situ treatment, because my
In fact,
PD
for
happens to be in the
both-
same area.
For both the solutions that I
Okay.
mentioned, the smart treatment also and the bio method also.
Okay. And Andrew, how about you? Because it's a high-end technology, so should one be going ahead with that kind of thing, taking cost as a constraint?
Yeah,
if it's not industrial wastewater. Thank you.
That's an excellent question. I'm not sure of the energy price here in India, but you can work on between about 0.6 kilowatt hours per 1,000 litres up to the nastiest water that we have to pump the most power into, about 1.25 kilowatt hours. Now, back home in Australia, we pay around 18 to 20 cents per kilowatt hour. So, yeah, that's roughly your treatment cost. I think that's probably the best way to answer, given I don't know the power cost here.
Thank you. Capital cost they're asking. Initial investment, capital cost, etc., etc. ROI.
After you.
So we are not paying for power consumption as such. That is all the responsibility of the commissioning agency, and we are just paying upfront around 18 lakhs for a 30 KLD plant.
So it's kind of service which is being delivered to you. Thank you.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Can we get a mic this side, please? This side. Yes, ma'am. Kindly identify yourself. Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Tata Consulting Engineers. My question is to Mr. Amit Khatri. What percentage of the total wastewater generated in Gurgaon are you covering with these decentralized plants?
Okay, so this will be not even 1%,
1%.
quite frankly, because this initiative has just begun over the last, say, 3 months. And the existing STPs that we have are, of course, centralized, and they are in the range of, you can say, almost 120 MLD.
Okay.
So 120,000 KLD. So this comes to be maybe around 1%, maybe 5% if we go ahead with the 100 STPs.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, sorry.
Should we start with that side and go this side? Maybe that corner? Yep. Kindly identify yourself and which organization you belong to, and then ask your question. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aditya. I'm from EcoSoft, Singapore-based company. We have an office here in Delhi. My question is to Mr. Andrew. Can you tell me what the incoming water characteristics, water quality parameters would be for your treatment? Is it wide variation? Can it handle any kind of incoming water quality? Because I just saw the water quality for that Canada case study, and it was pretty low. So I mean the BOD and TSS, etc. So yeah, if you can enlighten me on that, thanks.
Certainly. With this type of technology, we can accommodate, we've seen CODs over 300,000. We've had, it's amazing some of the wastewater we've taken on. But to answer your question simply for this audience, I'm happy to talk in more detail offline. We can accommodate a tremendous variation of water qualities, and that is one of the mainstays of our technology. So yeah, I couldn't list all of the things right now, but yeah, we can certainly. We've seen some very, very nasty waters.
Just to add to him, we do have certain case studies which we wanted to show, but because short of time, we couldn't show any of those data statistics, what you wanted to know. So, like as you said, we are more than happy to answer your questions after the session.
So maybe you guys can connect to offline and
Yeah.
kind of share your coordinates and take it forward. Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So your question, please.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jay. I represent Cabot Norit Activated Carbon. My question first to Andrew and then to Ranjeev. You talked about mobile treatment systems. How much is I mean, how many times these can be scaled? I mean, have you had experiences? Because the one I saw was roughly around 180 cubic meters per day. The one I think that was for Canada. So how much is this? I mean, how many times you can scale this? Because in India you have pretty large usage of whether it's potable water or wastewater.
Yeah, no, I understand. We start off with a module, which is a 2 litre a second module. We can then fit 6 of them into a 40-foot shipping container. Then we can manifold the shipping containers together. So if you work on 1 meg a day, 1 million litres a day from one shipping container, we can scale it very, very effectively. And because it's not locked in at that meg a day, you could have, say, 3 lots of 6 modules, then 1 additional or 3 additional. So it allows us to tailor the solution for the flow rate required. But more importantly, it allows you to add some redundancy in too, because quite often we need to, in any technology, maintain it. And if you have to turn it off and that interrupts the water drinking supplies, that can be a big problem. So the engineers and the water professionals, like in this room, would look at it and say the base load is this much, plus we need this much redundancy. So we can scale accordingly.
Right. So the scaling would be horizontal or vertical, or how is that?
You mean...
the number of containers would be...
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
And also we are talking about decentralization here. So it's like you may think about putting it as a decentralized units rather than the centralized, which is huge for Indian scenario. So it depends on the case, and we customize the solutions accordingly.
Thanks.
Yeah.
My question to Ranjeev, sorry. You talked about THMs and you talked about chlorination, and that being a challenge for you, THM discharge is a challenge for you. Have you used any specific tools or processes to use chlorine and still have the THMs below the limits, or you just have decided that no, because of chlorination I'm facing these challenges, so let me look at alternate to chlorination?
If it is freshwater chlorination, then some aeration and removal of NOM, natural organic matter, can be done. But as you see, it is for a nuclear power plant, that water requirement is 45,000 liters per second. And to do removal of NOM or something, it is extremely difficult. Only one thing can be done, that discharge canal. The discharge canal can be lengthened, and some aeration can be done at the outlet, so that THM can, again it will go to atmosphere. And there is, sending THM from the water to the atmosphere. It will also pose some risk. Rather than that, we can use chlorine. But as far the nuclear power plant is concerned, that level is not that high, or we should think about it. Again, after 500 meter, it is again mixing with the sea. Within some 100-meter zone, the dilution is so high that even you cannot detect it. But for freshwater chlorination or drinking water chlorination, some of the area are extremely concerned. Means even in the recent episode of heavy rain, we collected some waters from the supplies from Chennai. There even 3 times, 4 times, sometimes even 10 times higher than the guideline below we could get. But that was okay. That was a.
Do you use any meter or something instrument?
No, this analysis is still not means portable. It is still, again you have to extract that into some kind of solvent, and again it has to be analyzed by gas chromatograph and electron capture detector. Yeah. It is not that simple analysis. We cannot do it. Now the technology is not that we can do that at field.
Sorry, just one last one. Since we are now going for more of nuclear...
We'll take 3 more questions. Yeah.
Since we are going for many nuclear power plants, so what do you see? Have you had interactions with the West, because there are best practices? What are they doing, for example, in Japan, because they are also nuclear intensive power guzzlers? So do you have had chance to interact with them or get some information
Regarding?
On chlorination? What do they
Okay,
do?
that chlorination, actually what we do here is, this is bulk chlorination, but the problem is surface phenomenon. There lies the difference. We are chlorinating the bulk of the water, but we have to deal with the surface phenomenon. If you can chlorinate the surface rather than the bulk, then most of the problem will be solved. But this is again technological challenge. It is not a simple job. Again, the tunnel, whatever in the nuclear plant, is not accessible. You cannot access it as easily. And what kind of material you will use for the surface chlorination? That is an extremely challenging job. Some work has been is going on for modifying the surface and using porous ceramic for the surface chlorination. But it is still not on the practical use.
So I'll request you to kindly connect with him offline also. Yes, please ask your question. Please be brief, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Myself, Dr. J.S. Dwarakis from NIT Suratkal.
Sure.
This question is to Dr. Kamala KC. In your presentation, you told that female children are more prone to nutrition than male. Can you give some 2-3 reasons for this?
His question is, you presented that the malnutrition is more prevalent in female children rather than male children. He wants to know, can you give 2-3 reasons for that?
Okay, like the main thing that I find I found at that time is like in our society, like more privilege it goes for the male children, and they didn't care more to the female children. So even like mother were main caretaker of the, not mother, grandmother are main caretaker for those children, and they give more priority to male children rather than female. So that is the main reason I found at that time.
This is typical of India, I guess. You will understand that, घर में लड़का पैदा हुआ तो भाई लड़के को पहले खिलाओ, लड़की बाद में खा लेगी, सब खा लेंगे उसके बाद लड़की खा लेगी.
And even in Nepal, like the culture we have is like for a female child, the weaning period starts from 5 months. And for a male, it starts from 6 months.
That's why I have 2 daughters, I don't have son. So we were 2 brothers, and my father, we were 2 brothers, me and my elder brother, and my father said, enough of these 2 rascals. So I thought that let me have 2 daughters now. So please ask a question.
I had one question for Mr. Amit. See, you talked about decentralized STPs, but I just want to share, I will take 1 minute, a challenge which we face as a designer. You see, anywhere in the country, first, when we do a project, first we have to take an EIA approval, and then we come to the municipalities, and then we have to follow certain CPHO manuals also. So can you help us in at least bringing a synergy between these 3 departments? Like on water consumption, suppose if I do a design, when we submit to the State Environmental Committee in Panchkula for a residential setup, water consumption is taken 135 liters per person per day. When we come to Huda for a service estimate, it becomes 150, another 15%, 172.5. Now, MCG is not even able to supply water of 100 liters. So can we bring a synergy? Because what is happening, infrastructure is being designed by Municipal Corporation of Gurgaon for 172.5 liters per person per day, while availability is only 100. National rule is 135. So it is high time some changes are done. Second is, you see, NGT has made it compulsory for all construction work to use recycled water. We have been hearing for last 3-4 years that those bigger sewage treatment plant, you are going to lay a recycled water line on the entire golf course extension road and give a permanent connection to all the buildings to use that water for industrial cooling. For your information, in DLF Cyber City, water table is going down by 2 to 3 meters per year. I did the Westin Hotel on IFCO Chowk when he designed. It was 6 years back, the water table was 17 meters. Today it has gone to 33 meters.
So what's the question? In the second part, what is the question?
See, I'm saying dual plumbing. See, there is a national policy also. The new city should have 2 water lines coming. Every plot should get a fresh water and recycled water. Right. MCG has been talking about it. There have been a lot of news in the newspaper also.
So let's hear Amit. What?
See, I agree in the grey water use that you are discussing, but the entire proposal for implementing it and bringing back the water from the existing STP was proposed by Huda, and the estimate was exceeding almost 100 crores. And later on they sought funding under Amrut and other schemes, but it could not materialize. And that's why the trade-off of this solution is you don't need to pipe back, and locally itself you may treat the water and then reuse it. But of course, for a large centralized level STP, you have to finally go ahead with the investment of piping back the grey water.
His first question was how about the amount of water, the synergy between.
So beginning with of course the national standard that we have is 135 LPCD, liters per capita per day, and MCG may not be available because we ourselves are dependent on bulk of the master services for to Huda, and there has been quite a long time since a fresh maybe water line or any such investment was made, and bulk of the needs quite frankly are being met by bore wells. So that's the reality situation. That's why the water table is also going down. So unless and until we maybe go for augmentation of the existing canal water supply for as a master water supply for the entire Gurgaon region, this situation will persist, in my opinion.
Unfortunately, what is happening in Gurgaon, you can check the people, I can tell you details also.
Sure.
See, when we go for environmental approval in Panchkula, the water consumption is taken 135 liters per person per day. Now the same design, when it being submitted in the office in Gurgaon, it has to be increased to 172.5. So that means over-design is being done. So it is only nations money to bring this way.
We will take it up with the Haryana government at the highest levels. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Kriti. I'm from Camstrup. We are a smart water metering company based out of Mumbai. And my question is to Mr. Chandan Kumar. So I highly appreciate the kind of work that you're doing towards the cause that you presented. And it's quite unfortunate to see certain section of our country suffering from basic availability of water. The question here is, despite of the pumping of many resources into the system, there is also a need of conservation of the ones that are already available. So do you undertake any initiatives in terms of generating awareness to this section or probably to different sections of the country in terms of utilizing those resources properly?
We Save the Children have a project in different states on water and sanitations. In Delhi, we implemented same things in 2 districts, that in South Delhi as well as North Delhi. So same times the hygiene promotion as well as the resources utilizations awareness is going among all the communities people. So like that, we have done same things for 21 toilet in Delhi, including in North Delhi as well as South Delhi. So as well in other states like Patna, Bihar, in Patna also we slum done same things. And West Bengal, Brooklyn, there is a different context. We also done same thing in Brooklyn communities. So this awareness among the communities we always raise to all these peoples. So it's hopefully not covering to all Delhis, it's covering to few of the peoples of the communities. So if same things can be, government can come forward and take it up, then all communities can understand how can utilize these existing resources and how they can build their capacity.
But people don't have a habit of listening to the government, unfortunately. Yeah. Sir, last question. Yeah. All right, I'll have one more. Quickly, sir, quickly.
I am Pavan from Frankische. We are rainwater harvesting, and in the morning we made a presentation on rainwater harvesting where the maintenance is low, provided the sewage and storm water are kept separate. The question to you, Mr. Khatri, is that is MCG ready to give some concessions to housing societies, RWAs or anybody who become a zero stormwater discharge community? So there's a humongous amount of capital intensive expenditure that those builders would have to do. They are cash strapped. But on the other hand, we have to beg water. I am from Gurgaon, and in the morning I referred that why I have left logistics and come into wastewater management and stormwater management is that I had to cross Hero Honda Chowk for 4 consecutive years, and I was struck 4 hours or 5 hours each day sometimes, and there was no choice that I had to cross that particular crossing, and there are a few lakh people who do it every day. So we have a huge problem because of 6 inches of water on Hero Honda Chowk, and the traffic is few kilometers. There's a colossal national waste on one side. There's infrastructure which can be upgraded, but the private builders cannot do it. MCG is not in a position to do it. So should there be a proposal from MCG that you will waive off property taxes to a particular extent to compensate the stormwater management solutions if they provide. Will that be a proposal?
Amit, is this something that the GDA would take up, or is this something which would come under your department?
In fact, I'm sure GD will also take up in the coming future, but at this point, I'm sure you must have heard of Nirvana, the housing. So you must be aware that we have given 200 square yards of land to Nirvana out of the MCG land pocket adjacent to the housing society for establishment of a micro STP only that you just mentioned. So this is just one of the promotions, and it's not just zero liquid waste discharge, but also we are looking at zero solid waste discharge. Just I'm digressing from a topic. And we have proposed a rebate of 10 to 20% of property tax for all the societies that do household level segregation and then maybe composting in within their premises of the society. So that is on roll, and we have to just seek consent from headquarters, which we have in fact been pursuing. So parallelly, we are more than inclined to maybe offer financial help or any land which is in close proximity if the society itself is not able to establish the STP. See, okay, I agree with the rainwater harvesting also. You need a source. So basically, if you are interested in doing it within your premises, as I just mentioned, that from varying from 10 to 20% of rebate on the patterns of solid waste segregation, we are more than inclined to do it for liquid waste and for rainwater harvesting also. And if it is not possible within the premises, then whichever land is close by, which is suitable for the housing society, we will be more than happy to install it at our expense also. You just maintain it for us.
I would request you to probably touch base with Amit sometime in his office and have a discussion in public and sort it out. So last question, this is the last question we'll take.
I'm reacting to Dr. Pratibha Sharma. She may not be here on a subject which has been hyped too much. And she referred about organic farming. I am from Dhanuka Agritech, a senior general manager there for an agriculture marketing professional. Bluntly put, India needs to increase productivity. Modi ji is talking about increasing the farmer's income. 4 things I'd like to talk about organic farming. Number 1, it needs no less water. Number 2, the yield is almost half. Number 3, the cost is double. And we want to feed the entire country. You'll require 4 Indias to feed the country. The organic area today is less than 0.5% of the arable land. And therefore, I personally feel the subsidy given by the government for this particular subject is all going waste. Just for information. Thank you.
What's your take on GM foods then?
I think that's a very disputed subject. Cotton is all right because it's not an edible crop. You can use whatever you want to use on cotton or something which has been used later after harvest. But if it's a question of using something like brinjal or something, or even mustard maybe later, it has a variation. Brinjal could be a little toxic right away if you want to do something, harvest and then use on the table. But other crops which are having a duration between the pickup point and the consumption point, perhaps it can really work out.
So do you think something like drip irrigation could be a solution?
I think there's no comparison about drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is basically to see that you don't use flooding, you don't use sprinklers, you use drip irrigation to give exact quantity in the root zone. We discussed in the morning. But that's okay, but that doesn't have anything to do with GM crops as such. No.
I am talking about the consumption of water in
that's
agriculture.
Right. That's right. That is absolutely the in thing today. There also the government is giving a lot of subsidy. But then the take is very limited. There are hardly half a dozen companies who are doing this, and the extension work is very extensive. The results are very, very slow, and people are availing this primarily because of subsidy. If you stop subsidy, things will not really move the way they are moving today.
Right.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. You've been a very patient audience. We would like to wrap up, and we would like to thank our panelists. Thank you, panelists, so much.